Another week of College COD is upon us, and it's going to be a good one. We're 1 week out from restructuring these divisions, and I couldn't be more excited to close off the first stretch of the 2025 season. My name is Seymour. With me, our friendly neighborhood proper, Cass. How you feeling today, buddy?
I don't know why we went with a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man reference when I'm in a Captain America hoodie, but all is good, man. It feels good to be back again for another week here for CCL. As you were already talking about, we're 1 week away from the restructure, which then comes a lot more of some healthy competition for our top teams in this current division, as well as when we start talking about the conference championships, the regional playoffs, and everything else in between.
Yeah, and I think that everybody's looking forward to seeing how the teams are going to fare when they move up and down and towards these divisions. And speaking of which, we can actually take a look at these divisions right now proper, or at least the standings for what we're looking at for the Northeast Great Lakes, which is tonight. Div 1, St. Clair sitting up at the top, Akron in second place, Fanshawe Fuel in third, Canadore sitting in first, Buffalo closing off on the fifth. And yeah, kind of a little bit of a shakeup in Div 2, and I was kind of not really expecting to see RAT coming back up in that second place, but for Conestoga sitting in first, BWU in third, Seneca in fourth, and Akron in fifth. Things are looking to shake up here in Div 1 and Div 2.
Yeah, they absolutely will. And just for the layman's terms, you can clearly tell the difference as far as the colors are concerned. We'll be shuffling everything up. Your season's not over. Those in the lower half will be facing the lower half of Division 2. Division 1 will be going up against Division 2 in the top half, respectfully. But it's safe to say, just kind of perfect segue looking at this Northeast Great Lakes. Both of our two teams that we will have tonight are more than secured, you'd imagine. But seeding isn't even going to be a thing that we need to be worrying about. It's more or less you just have to make sure that you have the head-to-head with the person that's below you.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like it's a good feeling to be at the top, but like you said, it doesn't matter for these two teams. I think for, you know, anybody looking to close off their last week, finishing on a high note is the most important things in terms of confidence. And for our first match, I think that both of these two teams are going to be looking forward to it heading into, I'd say, the next stage of CCL 2025. You got Akron versus Canadore Esports, and this is a matchup that, you know, on pen and paper, Akron are quite ahead in terms of the standings, 7-1, but Canadore 5-3 have been making some moves, shaking things up, and I'm excited to see them back on stream tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a very tenured school that we've had in the CCL for quite some time at this point. Akron Esports, coming out of the no man's land that is Ohio. So it's always been interesting to be able to see the growth of Akron, but as you were talking about, Canadore have been making an argument for themselves, 5-3 across the board. Very nice to look at, might I add. It almost feels like this is all fake because it's 7-1. There's a 7-2 update for the S&P. But yeah, 5-3 across the board for Canadore Esports. I'm sure that Akron will not be taking them for granted.
Akron had to go ruin it, Andy, with a 7-2 record in the S&P.
It was beautiful to look at. It was.
It could have been perfect, perfectly balanced, as all things should be here on the CCL desk. But it's a tough one, I'd say, for Canadore, matching it into the number 14 team in our top 25 standings for CCL. Akron, I think, are going to be one of the favorites for tonight in this matchup. And we can take a look towards the maps and see where they're going to be headed towards this one, Andy. And for Akron, they're going to be looking to fix some small mistakes, they said, coming off of a LAN in St. Clair where they play second, losing to the Saints themselves. They've been moving into this week looking to patch some small mistakes. And looking at this map set, you can see that possibly they want to do it on Vault.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Vault is home away from home, I guess, as some of these college students like that. I'm more excited to be able to see this Hacienda Hardpoint, personally, because when you go back and you look at the 7-1 for the Zips, their one loss was to St. Clair, and they just, like, they bullied them. Like, 250-20 Hacienda Hardpoint. It could be maybe, for lack of better terms, of saying they just didn't know how to play the map. I'm not too sure. We know that the Saints got a bunch of shooters on that roster, but I digress. It's just nice to be able to see that rep because at the end of the day, it is their one hardpoint loss. The Vault Search and Destroy, should we end up getting towards the map number 5, could be nice to be able to see in the Vault Control. Basically what I'm saying, it feels like Akron through this best of 5 and through the veto process, Colin, they're basically trying to play for what they struggled with. And the only time they have been tested in this opening split of this season was against St. Clair on those 3 maps.
It's funny, too, because when I talked to the Akron team, they said that, you know, their favorite map is, you know, variant of different maps that we do have in the map set itself, but they said the Hotzi is one of their favorites, and to lose 250 to 28 versus the Saints, I don't think that would be one of my favorite maps after having to deal with that. But hey, they get to see if they can rectify that going into this one. For Canadore, they were telling me that Skyline Hardpoint is their favorite. Definitely out of their element in going into a Hossie in terms of the difference between Skyline and a map like Hossie Hardpoint. But they do get that Skyline Search and Destroy. See if they can turn it around into this matchup, take down Akron, and kick things off and hand them their second loss here on Hossie Hardpoint.
Just barely inside the bubble are Canadore Esports. Two of their losses that wasn't the forfeit to St. Clair were 0-3 losses, and those were against other top split teams going in towards the restructure. So this is going to be their next biggest test. We'll have to see what they've been able to learn since then. But through the opening duels already, you can see that the Zips well off to a great start.
Of course they are. It's blue in the feed, and Canadore had the better spawns at first. You can see Cam's going to try to anchor those ones. He's dropping back, but his teammates are not only losing time on P1, but they're also losing every single individual gunfight that they've been taking so far. You do get Key to at least shut some presence down over towards top open, but Thieves with 10 seconds left in this hill, he's going to be looking for some exits on the transition. You can see all of Canadore are looking to press for these spawns, but Bio's back there. He's locking it down, and the Zips are looking for a safe transition.
He went 1 for 2 on that driveway push as well. You can see that the spawn's coming immediately in towards the garden, but Dark trying to play his life, buying time for reinforcements as they're starting to push through the center of the map. Starting to get rock control out of Cam. Does get the squad spawn right behind him. So the break attempt's coming through Zig, but it's also being watched by Bio. T picks him up along the way through lobby. A good attempt coming through for Canadore.
It is, and you see a push from the front from Dark. Bowie is snapping right now, 2-1. But those 2 kills are looking clean, 3 in a row now, as he's trying to lock down the rest of this time. You can see that Canadore with one last member, Tater, around. He's going to swap in from that side door, breaks in for Canadore for the moment, but Akron just battling their way back in. A clean kill feed yet again. 15 seconds left. You got to look to new.
Yeah, crispy. Tip your hat towards the 6 and 3 already for Bio. Able to pick up that 2 in the backside of the driveway, secure the spawns. Thieves, though, up to a nice little 4 spree will get picked up through top office, but rotation towards new is already threatened. Bowie spawns in towards the back. Able to get some nice team shots along with Bio. So already getting control of the new time. Just about where they're coming from next, Colin.
Yeah, I mean, they are doing everything they can to get these rotations right. They're just losing their gunfights everywhere on the map. And I like it from Canadore. They're trying to fix their mistakes in terms of locking down that initial time. But when you're going for those early rotations, you got to get some, at least like pick up some corners, set yourselves up for some kills and get that initial time. They've just lost every single rotation that they've been looking to win, and it reflects in the scoreline, 101-3. I mean, this is a smacking from Akron.
I mean, if you ask me, in between a panther and a kangaroo, I would definitely say that the panther would be the hunter, but they're barely even able to make a quite little squeak.
This is Kangaroo Jack.
117-3. Yeah. I mean, it's zippy. I mean, like, just thinking about that mascot in general, there's not a single thought behind his eyes. It's just clear-cut destruction. Finally, we get a good look coming through from the Panthers. They get possession of the rock hill, and they're just defending from inside of the hill. Able to get at least those rock house spawns, but nobody was watching the Lambo push Thieves for 2.
Yeah, Thieves gets in at least for those 2 kills. It's a good stabilize from Canadore, but some split spawns from Akron. They're going to be able to hit this one from both sides. You can see player number 6, Bio, with a late pinch from Lambo's side. Bowie pops up for another set of kills. 2 in a row. Akron get in for what is 30 seconds left on this P4. They're looking to put this well out of the realm of competition heading into the second set of rotations, Andy.
Oh, yeah. It just feels like that the Zips can just do no wrong. I mean, surely it was weak, just a handful of bullets, but it doesn't matter. Bowie for 5. Gonna get some good intel through Zig. This spree will live on. Which way you want to go, young man? Chasing all the way up top through the upper hallways. Will be traded out by Cam, but an influential spree nonetheless. Canadore, though, they do have this upper hallway area controlled for the time being, but they're just struggling to try to figure out which point of ingress they want to try to volley together. A couple straight gunfights go their way. They're in towards the time.
This is a team that looks like they just came off second place at a LAN. over at St. Clair. They look like a well-oiled machine, warmed up, ready to go, ready to kick off the restructure off of a win. And there's just nothing that they're doing wrong in terms of slaying, in terms of rotating, and even locking down those spawns every single time you get towards a money hill. And this isn't really surprising to me for Canadore. I mean, recently coming off of a roster change, they said that they've been having some issues or some weird times in practice, you know, with Tater coming in for FD, but something's got to switch for this team. They got to find that light switch, see if they can turn it around.
This could be stage 2 Carolina Royal Ravens, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see the search and destroy, because I don't have to call it pretty early. It was a 120-point lead for crying out loud. Like, he's 17-12. Now he's 13-8. He's going to get gunned from the lobby area. But, I mean, it's just, how do you make an argument? You got Panthers in towards the time. This is starting to look like the semblance of their Rock Hill. The difference is you got to guess which corner. They're in all 3 of them.
Look, if he just slides in with Bio, they just get in so quickly, Andy. I mean, I just watched USA play Canada. I get that tonight twice. And I'm not liking my chances right now. This is not the bounce back that I was hoping for.
No, you're like the only Canadian in the entire like Discord right now too. That's tough, man. It's not a good night for you.
Hasn't been a good couple of nights. I won't be honest. I'll be honest on that one.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. This is just destruction. Good 2 out of Dark. Able to maintain top hallway control. They do have spawns for new. But I mean, off of Dark's push all the way through lobby, they need to pick up this information. They're coming in from the back, but I just fear that by the time that the Panthers get that information again, they're already turtled up inside the hill. They have to win big gunfights like what he just did inside the shed, but Bowie just swanton bomb from the top side of the balcony. Works perfectly fine every time, I guess, man. 184-65. Akron break back in.
It was better at first. I mean, they had that initial setup that they wanted. They just didn't have anybody top plat, and Akron are just happily going to suffocate them onto that point. You can see Thieves looking to get aggressive on the outside of fences. Trades out Bio on top, as he's got a one-on-one to win. He's going to secure that versus Cam. 15 seconds of scrap. Bio's going to soak it up. Rotations to new, and we're heading into P4 with 2:11, looking at around 2:18. As this one pops open, Akron could look to finish this in the second set of rotations, but T's here. He's got his team set up. Dark looking to pick up the stragglers, rotating in towards Lambo. Thieves almost doesn't finish that off, but this is it. This is your last stand if you're Canadore.
There's just no space again. They're all turtled up around the Rock Hill. You got one of Dark spawning all the way back driveway. He's got to clear the entirety of the flank, but curling works out so well so far. Dark takes down a teammate, but they still maintain numbers. Bio to the sub. Oh, I was about to say if he wins that one, we're talking nasty work, but Canada hold on.
They do. Now it's Cam. Attention through. Speeds the slide in. Thieves going to cut underneath the irons. Turns it into 2. 4 down. Now, Canadore's held that one long enough that this isn't going to be the end of the run for their Hassie hardpoint. So far in map number 1, we are going to be going to the third set of rotations, but Thieves looking to push through the extremities down into bottom lobby. He finds 5 in a row now for this rotation back into P1. There's only 10 seconds left. You can see that Canadore does have a member here. It's Tater, but Akron are in the hill. Tater's not going to see him in towards top open, as well as the hop-up. Bowie's just getting the rest of this time, and kills come through. It's 3 down again. They can hop this hill and put it away. 5 more seconds. Akron looking to put a statement down in map 1 of the night. 250-89 on Hassie hardpoint. That is disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you wanted if you are Akron. Your only loss on the season, you got blown out of the water, for crying out loud. And throughout everything else, you mostly just want to prove that you are a top dog to be reckoned with when that restructure does come through. So the statement is necessary, I feel like, from a standpoint perspective. But, I mean, if we're going back for Canadore, they started making some solid arguments. It's just every time they got inside the hard point, it just felt like that they didn't know what else to do. They never had any space. Nobody pushing a little bit further forward. Sometimes spawns would flip, but they were always just forced to turtle. That was just the sheer presence and the control that Akron had on the map throughout the entirety of it. Bowie 21 and 16 is just nasty work. Felt like that guy could do no wrong. Baya was winning gunfights he had no business doing as well. It was just the zip show to lose there in map number 1. And if you're the Panthers, probably by the second rotation, I'm not going to lie, Colin, I'm probably already thinking about what we're doing on Skyline map number 2.
They just look like me in a group photo. It's like, I don't know what to do with my hands at that point.
Put him down by your side, Mr. Bobby.
Okay, thank you. Now I know. And I'll fix that for sure. But you were kind of like pointing out, they had the right idea for a couple of those hills. They were getting the early rotations. They were thinking ahead, trying to be proactive and fix their mistakes. But it was the slaying. And every single time we saw Bowie or Thieves, in the feed, it was usually followed up by 2 kills at a time. And that is just not good enough for Canadore in terms of the respawns. It's something I'm sure you're hoping to fix by the time you get to that vault control. And we could see that off the start. I mean, just look at the way that Akron started this game, Andy. 117-3. By P3 opens up, and even P3 to P4, you just look at the swing of these numbers. It's just, even when Akron were having like an okay hill, Canadore were just not answering back with something that was necessary. Look at the P4 to P1. You only get about 20 seconds there if you're Canadore, and you can see that Akron were just doing a good job at when Canadore had those hills. They were hitting it, they were contesting it, and they were doing everything they could to keep them away from getting time.
I mean, even the second set, I mean, they were starting to trade like 40s for 20s at that point, and that's when I was starting to see the semblance. Just like, okay, they could get the break, but once they got inside the time, they just never had enough time for the forward setup. Like they could play a corner, sure, but there was just no proactivity once they were actually inside the hill. And I mean, 117-3 through 3 hills is just nasty work, but you got to somehow regain if you are Canadore Esports. Look, you already called out the facts. Since the roster change, they've been going through at least some growing pains. They're already secured for the next split. Even if they lose here, they don't have the head-to-head versus the other team, what is it, Buffalo Esports, after they lost 0-3 to them as well. And the hard points versus the other top teams were never close, such as Fuel Esports. They got 250-98 on Protocol Hardpoint, and then they immediately brought them to a round 11 Skyline Search and Destroy. So that is going to be the next map. You can see it right here on your screen. Skyline Search and Destroy, it's good old classic bang out and catch it. And if you're able to at least play the trade game, catch a couple players off guard, feeling themselves off of Akron, which we have seen them do in the past, Colin, you might be looking pretty for maybe a tied-up scoreline. At least you're hoping so if you're a Panthers fan.
I mean, how many times do you and I watch a series of Call of Duty, and like some teams just aren't hardpoint teams? And you know what, especially in college COD, there's a lot of pressure on something like hardpoint when you have to think about rotations, kills, anchoring those spawns, as well as holding that time. There's a lot to do there. You kind of scrape 3/4 of that away for Search and Destroy, and you can just kind of play off of a lot of individual skill for a lot of these teams. We see it really flourish for subs on Skyline, getting those initial first bloods, trying to play fast as a team, bang it out, do it together. And I think Canadore, like you said, they have a good track record of bringing things back on this map mode combo. Looking to see if they can restabilize into this round 1. Dark's going to trade off that first blood. We're in a 3-on-3. They have A-site control, so it's time for a plant.
Yeah. Akron going to trust the retake here. Going to be the one to try to take the more space first. You can see that Thieves is waiting for his team to try to go across the upper hallway. He's got a good cross from Piano, but doesn't pick up the kill. Good intel.
Look at this. Full wrap through the spawn from Bio. Hater's going to be ready for this one, but no peek for Bio. He's not going to be ready for the close chow. Dark gets it, traded immediately, and you can see that Canadore are looking to flip this one out. Unfortunately, Thieves is going to catch that exit. 9 HP, laying down, and the help comes through from MZ. 2 kills there between Thieves and MZ to put it away. And that is just a well-oiled retake right there. Structured, clean, the trades coming through, and then Thieves cuts it through the middle.
Yeah, it is really well orchestrated. We already started breaking down the moment that trade came through, that it was a 3v3. No sense on trying to eat yourself forward past the fireplace. It at least put trust that Thieves had that cross available, and him staying alive there to be able to then push all the way over towards the hot tub was just about everything to be able to flip the map in the Zip's favor. Looking so winnable for Canadore, but Akron flip it.
And you'll love to get that round out, and they're showing signs of life in the search already, so don't count them out just yet. First blood this time, it's Cam's way. He's looking for a second. Up top, Cat, he's going to get the info towards top bedroom. You can see that Tater's playing close on A, and Now the line in the sand has been drawn.
Again, 3v3, trades come out. All of Akron just go back towards their spawn. And then they just play the old school game. Play for the intel. Got some late util still on a couple of the Zips members. Starting to work across the upper decks.
Yeah, let it unravel itself at this point, so.
Right.
Canadore. No sound on A. Thieves drops right into the lap of Dark. He says, see you later. That's 4 in a row. Bomb in hand. He's going to work right into Cam, so that's going to put Akron on the back foot now. They have to go recover the objective.
Yeah, I mean, you effectively have to retake, the defensive spawn. MZ's going to get that intel. The problem is the clock.
Cam has no idea that MZ spotted him, so this 1v1 going to be clean. Would have loved to get the 1 kill there, but it puts T into the 1 versus 2. Full rotation into B, 15 seconds. You get the player on the bomb off, and then maybe you have a chance, but both spot him. They reach the site. Bomb's getting planted right away. Bio's watching over him. They have no idea the stun's through, but it's a tough shot to hit. He's trying his best to just pepper them away, but there's no kills off the back of it. It's just damage. Somebody has got to fall eventually. But both members now off of the regen. Get the reposition. They just set up. They play their corners, and man, they ate.
Yeah, that was... I mean, baiting out the 2v1, being able to get that information on the slide back, whether he was scouted or not, just trying to go 1-for-1 there is just so difficult. And even in towards the end, the Panic Semtex just does not help out the situation at all. He does find good damage, but like you were talking about, numbers aside, you lay down, you plant, I'm overwatching you, I stay alive. We get the win condition set in stone, let alone with numbers. And it's just really hard to fully decipher. But I am liking what we're seeing, both offensive and defensive, like from Akron. Once they get those trades, they just fall all the way back and reassess the situation.
This time it's the first blood for Thieves untraded, so now we get the first look at how does Canadore respond to this and react, because Bowie's going to get aggressive, and that's kind of a gimme for Cam. And Thieves goes down as well. They have site control over towards A, so a couple players of Akron almost overheating this round.
Yeah. It's the same exact thing that happened once Akron, he's got numbers in their favor in the previous round. I leave MZ and Bio, 2v3 retake over towards A. Their body stacking over towards top and bottom piano. It's going to be tough.
We've seen the double up clutch before from Akron already on this map. MZ gets the info. Bio's looking to work from Jim. Both players together, just walking into the belly of the beast. Both players on either side. Dark's going to win the first one. Bio's in trouble. He's trapped in the Bermuda Triangle of Panthers. And they're feasting. Finally, Canadore's put this to a stop, and they get around on the board here for Skyline. That could have been a little troublesome for Canadore if Akron were able to complete that retake.
I mean, it's kind of gifted in a way, though. Like, I'm sorry to come across like overly critical if you are the Zips, but you had numbers, solo isolating yourself in a very one-for-all play. Just doesn't really make much sense when you've been showing so much passiveness and at least respect to be able to get the information in the previous 2 rounds. But you still had that 1-round lead. Canadore looking to build off of this. This is what I was talking about, Colin. Just hold some irons with the ARs. The SMGs are probably going to give themselves up eventually. Akron is trying to feel themselves.
I almost feel like that is some warranted criticism for the Zips.
Thanks, man.
It kind of comes from, like, what they were saying, like, those small mistakes that they're looking to fix. So there's it right there. It's Hater, however, and Dark just blow it all up. Akron's get zipped up in that round.
Yeah, just play counter intel, right? I mean, you get the point of contact. You watch this lane. I hold your cross. Play in a tradable position of one another. It's just good old man Call of Duty, Colin. I cannot lie to you. It's almost starting to feel like LAT playing up against the Vegas Falcons. They're just running at them for like no reason at all. They're getting no intel off their stuns, and even if they are, it's too late. And they're still just trying to force, what is Shift's phrase? Like a square peg through a round hole?
Yeah, it just won't go in.
Heard.
I digress. 2-2. Canadore, Akron. First Bloods have been definitely a trade battle on both sides, but take a look at Bowie. He is racing all the way into the back. 0-4 in the search, but this could be a time to turn it around. He gets the shot somehow. Player gets away. But you can see in the feed, a couple of trades back and forth. 2-on-2, now a 2-on-1. Tater's going to split the difference, and MZ is shooting.
Nice shots. 1v1 now. Tater does have bombs, so he's going to get the luxury of planning this. MZ had to favor the reload for this inevitable 1v1. Tater's on a 4. He's also got a Jackal, so I'll be thinking about a good corner to play from where he could maybe scout some intel, and this read is sublime.
Oh, yeah.
Holds this angle. Might be able to get the good reaction out of it, but MZ's... You read this? Gonna hit through piano. The stun should give away his information. I don't think he heard it, though.
You just got to post up right now if you're Tater. He's going to go all the way around to Brown, MZ. Still hunting Ghost, but he hears the door open, and Tater gives it away. MZ with the clutch 1v1 brings Akron back into the lead for the map.
That's tough. I mean, the stun was the alarm bell, and it just immediately caused chaos inside of the anthill. Maybe he could be coming over from the back stairs, could be taking the zip up through elevator, and all are possibilities, but I mean, you just gotta commit at that point if you are Tater, just to playing the one-off angle, get your bomb checks going, and then in doing so, just hits the door, gives away the information, but in a situation that I really did feel like Canadore should have been able to win, you saw the way that Akron died, they were all across the map, Colin, just isolating themselves. Get by with MZ's clutch. They're back up 1 again.
Yeah, those 1v1s, I mean, it is a toss-up sometimes in timing. I mean, we're in college. I'd like to see some of these colleges implement COD timing 101, but you just can't teach it. First blood from Canadore. So T's going to be able to answer back, and so you can see that Canadore just want to push the issue right into their spawn. But I like this from T. He backs up again, just like what Akron was doing to them.
Yeah, it's just the difference this time. Canadore do have a full-on 4v3. T's already over towards bedroom. He gets good info. He's just going to be holding this angle, waiting to see if anybody else is going to give up their life for free.
100% Thieves did not see him there, so...
I don't think... There's no way he did.
Well, now he does. Okay.
All right, then.
However, Thieves in trouble. He's going to be tagged down. Not sure if these players went on the chase, but it's still going to be Cam finding a kill onto Bowie. Thieves doubling back, so 3 versus 2. Akron looking to dig themselves out of another hole.
Kyle on the back stairs. Running out of time here, boys. 2v2. Dark Cam just going to possibly play for the retake or the timing. They know that Akron had to push for the plant. Thieves going to lay down. Dark and Cam are re-wrapping all the way through mid. They're going to allow this plant to come through and play for the 2v2 retake.
A little bit of, like, Five Nights at Freddy's at this one, down through the vents. I was going to turn around him. He smells something fishy in the water. He has an idea that this could be a potential full wrap, but Canadore posted up. Dark's going to make some noise up the glass, see if that's going to draw any reaction out of these players, but it seems like it's going to be a double hit through you. 20 seconds, they got to hit this one fast. Thieves alone. He's tagged down, still alive, though. Hits the deck, pops up. How does he get away with that? He gets 2?
What? I mean, maybe ran out of bullets? Couldn't shoot through the couch with the pistol. I was watching him the entire time, but I mean, Thieves was dead to rights. Good help coming through from Bio. It's like you said, originally was left by their lonesome for Thieves. He was the initial alarm bell. He gets the read through you, and then Bio just has to drop down and just play for the trades. Almost felt like that Thieves was guaranteed to find at least one, but between Bio and Thieves, they clutch on up. They're in that 2v2, and they have a 2-round lead to speak of.
They are just clutching right now in this skyline. Canadore, that's a frustrating one, but he has been a first blood machine. Can he find 2? Slides right into the double chow, so that is a tough situation to find yourself in now. MZ might be spotted here. No, patience is a virtue, and Cam takes the bait. Tater now in a 1 versus 3. Toughest situation we've seen a player yet tonight in this search, and we know how that story goes. As soon as he's spotted, he's dropped, and Akron up to map point here in the search.
Not looking good. And now, just can't find that first blood. They're starting to run at you, and they're catching you by surprise, winning the gunfights. It's starting to look like the opening set of hills back on Hacienda map number 1. Canadore have to do something rather impressive here. Yeah, quite a bit in map number 1. This one's a little bit more doable. Lyle up to 4. Thieves on 2. Usual suspects really came to play today for the Zips.
4 in a row for Bio, looking to make it 5. Thieves gonna crack things open with the first blood. He's dancing as well, but so is Dark. Unfortunately, Bio's just been posted up, and he turns it into 6 in a row. 9 and 4 out of Bio. Here on Skyline, it's only a matter of time before you're shot in the back. Akron Zips, in light of a kangaroo being your logo, your mascot. I'm gonna take a page out of our Australian friend Narski. This is a walloping.
It really was, man. I mean, it started off looking really good. Those handful of rounds that the Panthers were able to manifest were all of the back end of the Zips just getting a little bit over-aggressive, in my opinion. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you saw it right there as it concluded in round number 8, Colin. Canadore finally gave Akron what they wanted as far as the defense is concerned. And how Skyline Search and Destroy typically does pan out, it's a good old-fashioned paying out through kitchen. And they just end up losing in the trade department, like you're saying. Bio just posted up again, just waiting and watching his teammates cross and over their shoulders, just picking up so much damage in that map number 2. It's a comfortable 2-0 lead now for the Zips. It
is. And, you know, you're banging on the door of a 3-0 sweep. They look cool, calm, and collected so far for their matchup tonight. And I think for Canadore, I mean, they just got to figure out some kind of way to follow up as a team. But you saw a couple of moments where they had the right idea yet again, where they're taking some pages out of Akron, slowing it down on the map. But it came down to a couple of those clutches. And when you got Akron, you know, losing those first blood battles, but still walking away with the round win in 3 out of rounds out of this recap, that is... it's tough to look at because Canadore had so many rounds that they should have won that they just could not finish off.
I mean, we were dead even as far as first bloods are concerned. But you could just see as far as first bloods, when you were able to get those first bloods, Canadore, it was immediately traded out by Akron, and then you still lost the round. So the first blood, just playing the trades was just so good for Akron, and especially early on, Colin. We noted this, and I'm sure a lot of teams will probably be aware of this. It's a very sound strategy when it comes down to college COD and just Call of Duty in general. Just pump the brakes, man. Just pump the brakes real quick. It's a 3v3. Let's reassess the situation and just play this together as a team. That's exactly what you want to see if you are a fan of the Zips, especially ahead of the restructure of the division.
You just got to take a break here and gather yourself if you're Canadore. You come back, revitalize. Right. You got Vault Control up next, and we can see if Canadore has what it takes to reverse sweep the Akron Zips tonight. Well, welcome back, class. So we got ourselves a pretty quick game number 1 happening for tonight's CCL match. Akron came out to show up for Hunter tonight, I guess, proper, and they're putting on an absolute show to say farewell.
Yeah, absolutely seems the case. I mean, silly me for sitting here thinking it was all analytic. They're playing the maps that they got mollywopped on. It's none of that. It's all for Hunter, baby. Ball control up next, map number 3 here in this best of 5 series, and it's been all Zips pretty much the entirety of this game. 250-89, Hacienda Hardpoint felt like a blur. 6-2, Skyline Search and Destroy felt like Panthers really had something going for them. Maybe Control, just maybe. They are 4-2 on this as far as the season is concerned, Colin. So they have more time spent here than the Zips. Thoughts?
By a total of 2 maps, actually.
Yeah, that's math.
Akron are only 3-1 on this map. So, you know, the stats are statting right now. That means that Canadore have a pretty good chance to kick things off for a reverse sweep here. I'd like to see it. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that Canadore haven't been, you know, putting in the work for this series, because they've been, you know, sticking it to Akron for a lot of those search rounds. They had the advantage. They just weren't able to close off. For the hard point, they were hitting the rotations. They just couldn't find the kills to follow it up. For the Control, I imagine the practice is going to show. It is just trying to keep up with the slaying that Akron's going to put down. That's going to be the issue.
So it's a continuation of Search and Destroy out of the Zips, isn't it? I mean, they get the information, which was none through mid, so surely they're going all the way through the bottom side. So just gonna give up the area of ingress and just retake it. Works out wonderfully for the Zips as the trade department goes crazy. 26v25 with 55 on the clock.
Wrap around for Bio. He's going to clear off top cat. A couple of kills for Akron now to start pushing up. And you can see with MZ all the way to gold. He's going to be spawning Canadore on P2. The rest of the Zips are going to know that. And you can see that them just reacting to clean up the pathing that Canadore is going to be taking. T in Vault might look to see if he can draw some attention here. hits the zone, actually, so that's going to draw some players back, but he's just barely able to stay alive. Immediate reaction from Akron. There's nowhere T could go at that. I mean, Akron are cleaning it up.
Man, again, it just started off so well, and then Akron got 1-3 for 1 dead and never looked back. It's at 23v13. That's going to sting if you are Canadore. Because to be fair, their opening rollout was really good. It was just a better response out of the Zips. As we're doing a little bit of a victory lap, maybe try to stall the clock one last time. Not going to be the case. 8 seconds left on the clock. Another highlight reel kill out of Bowie. Akron should take this one cleanly.
And look at Mazo is 6-1 off of the round number 1. He is feasting with the aims on Vault. So you see both ARs just doing a good job at locking those lanes. The subs running routes. You saw that everybody was just funneling Canadore into the situations they wanted to be in. And for Canadore, again, the big issue just comes down to the gun skill seems like it's outclassing them a little bit at the end. It's definitely showing when every single time that they're setting up for a moment to hit a zone, they either lose a player that's last in line, or they lose the player that's, you know, sliding in towards the hill. Never do you see Canadore hitting this one together or having a full 4-up on a zone. And I think in terms of that, you know, possibly they just need to slow it down, take it one step at a time, and see if they can pull some mistakes out of Akron, see if they can force some gunfights that favor themselves.
It almost feels like some visual frustration, at least of what we can get off of the arrows. We don't have any point of listening in, but you know, once they get a handful of kills, Zips kind of force this issue for Canadore Esports of desperation, and it causes a little bit of chaos. It just means that the Zips keep finding all these different timings. In layman's terms, I'm not fully saying that it's a little bit of a skill differential, but Akron are definitely more uniformed rather than the Panthers. 1 segment on both the 2 zones within the initial handful of seconds coming through out of the Zips.
And look, just like round number 1, in round 2, Maz is already up and towards top P4. This is spawning everybody even further away from that A zone. B zone is going to have a little bit of a crossfire. It's going to be nearly impossible to cross through this no man's land. And just look at the kill feed too. Masa just getting the damage in for Thieves to clean it up. A zone now going to be fully secured. 2 minutes and 19 seconds. And that B zone second tick is already a lock. Bowie's going to take a route underneath, clean up top Bard. He doesn't even need to, but when he gets here, he's got some shots to throw down. B-zone stacked now. Players of Canadore rushing to see if they can make one last stand. As you can see, the push through mid is actually going to turn into a couple of kills, but Akron just immediately bounced back. They got the full control of this one, and it's just a matter of time before they get these kills, hop this zone, and stack it to put it away.
Yeah, pick a win condition, Colin. 25v13. You got 2 minutes on the clock to play TDM. Mazo, to your point there, has just been forcing them to chase Ghost the entire time as Bowie just tries to maybe go for an assassination, gets the melee instead. I think that Akron are more than contentious to try to win this off of kills alone. Finally, Dark does unearth Mazo, but not before the damage has already been done. 21v11, just sub 2 minutes on the clock. 1 segment required. You said it, I'll say it again, because it just feels like a fever dream pick-a-win condition if you are the Zips. They're going to hop on the zone and end it that way.
The Tater spent so long just waiting for the right timing through mid, but as soon as he showed himself, he got shot in the back, and Akron just immediately hop it. They get it done in segments, and 2-0 on the Vault control. Ready to 3-0 sweep their way through the map and the series. And Canadore, it just seems like they are struggling to get anything going on the map, and a couple moments there that you saw the players just getting some timing, but it just seems like they're outclassed on the night.
Just feels like a very rehearsed Akron Zips, doesn't it, Colin? I mean, this is exactly what we wanted to see out of them. I know we didn't necessarily state this. I kind of hinted at it, but I mean, in this devastating loss towards the Saints, it's their only stain besides the one Vault Hardpoint loss to U Buffalo, which is just another stain, I suppose. But you feel like for these players that are on the screen that have been playing in the circuit for quite some time, even some of the challengers opens as well, they knew that they had to get to work because the statement needs to be made ahead of that restructure.
They put the work in, and they've been really grinding their way to the top, at least where they are right now. And you can see that for Canadore, you're going to be taking a different structure into this round. You can see the full rotation out through pool. You get Cam all the way up towards top P4. That's going to be spawning players in art, but forces Akron instead to divert their attention to taking him out. And as soon as they do, Bowie's just been chasing him for miles. That is karma, Andy, if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. 14-6 for Bowie, nonetheless. Get on the zone if you are Canadore. Yeah, there it is on the A zone. 25 East 26. I mean, you have the opening for this to be a winnable round, but you don't have top hallway control. Bowie finds 2, is traded, but never far away is the other Zips member to play for the trades.
You're dancing on point right now. If your teammates can get here in time, then maybe Phoebes is going to actually get down the initial damage. Cam's going to finesse. Trades out. You would love to have some help there if you're Cam, but as soon as everybody gets into position, it's 3 down for Zips. 26 seconds. They're ready to end it here.
Sure seems that way, Colin. 23v17, only 18 seconds left on the clock, and they're chasing Mazo inside of their spawn, and they want him dead to rights. Stater with the knife. He's done that a handful of times. Bowie almost finds the little flashy kill, but Canadore have rolled over. They've shown their bellies, and this cat doesn't scratch you. Not a single bit. The Zips just get it done. 3-0, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Let's get on to the restructure.
Kangaroo's got some hands here. They're throwing some good haymakers tonight.
Yeah, have you ever seen a kangaroo? They're jacked.
3-0 sweep, and they make it look so clean, Andy. I mean, this is a team that's sitting 14 on the top 25, but performances like this, I mean, really setting themselves up for what could be, when this restructure does have, a lot of people should have this team on their, I'd say, sights to be a tough matchup.
Yeah, it's definitely a statement made. When we get down towards the divisions, we'll have to kind of pin them up against each other and see how well that the Zips would be able to do against them. But you can clearly tell as far as the committee is concerned for top 25, even as far as the division and the 0-3 loss to the St. Clair Saints, which are highly regarded as well on this list. The Zips are not too far away. It's still ranked top 15 at that 14th position. They get it done very quickly and very comfortably here versus the Canadore Panthers. Canadore Esports going to have to think about it, hit a couple scrims, get some practice, because that restructure, especially because they are still going to be in that top split, Colin, is going to be a grueler. Yeah,
and it just kind of goes to show, I mean, I think for Canadore, like we've been just saying, like a broken record all series long, Andy, it's just this team has the fundamentals down. It's just when you come together, you practice, you finally have your full team, bringing in Tater as your solidified 4th. Now this is where you can work from these fundamentals and start to show some of that individual skill. You get a little bit more comfortable, and this could be a new look Canadore going into the second set of the season. So looking back at this 3-0 sweep, I mean, this is just a bump on the road for Canadore, where I'm sure they're going to be looking at this to recap where they can fix their mistakes going into the future.
Yeah, look, it's just a minor bump in the road, like you were talking about. Yeah, there's still plenty of time. There's still plenty of Call of Duty left to be played. And, of course, the restructure is just the next lily pad in the grand ocean that is the spring 2025 season. Because you still got conference championships. You still got to talk about regional playoffs, depending on how you do in conference championships. There's still a lot of Call of Duty left in the scholastic year for these individuals, and we got to see some really good bright spots out of them. They just need to fine-tune a few things in their respawn and their search and destroy. I'm sure we'll see the Panthers back again.
Yeah, I'm sure we will as well, but that's going to be it for our first match of the night. A quick one from Akron. They make a statement against Canadore, and they kick things off with a bang on this Monday night action. We're going to head to a break, get things set up. Cash and Corn up next. You guys don't want to miss that. We got more CCL on the other side.